Are these the three perfect diving watches? Now let's start with my favorite. Now a lot of you guys might be thinking automatically, oh, it's gotta be the Rolex Starbucks. It's not actually. My favorite is this green Omega Seamaster. This is such a beautiful watch. And I know for a lot of you guys, you will say that this bracelet is too big, it doesn't taper, but it kind of goes with this watch. It's supposed to be a little beefier. It's a man's watch, and I think this bracelet fits it pretty well. Let me take off my Apple Watch. This is my Apple Watch Ultra 2, so I guess this is part of my collection as well. I am on my way to the gym, and it doesn't get better than the Apple Watch, really, if you want to track stuff. So here is the Omega Seamaster on my wrist. And when the sunlight hits it just right, that green just pops. And then when you're in the shadow, it looks almost black. And I really like that. Great looking watch. Like I said, for some of you guys, the bracelet might be a little beefy. It might be too big. But for my wrist, I'm going to take it. And again, once it hits that sunlight, that green really comes to life. All right, so then let's go to my second favorite, which is this Rolex Starbucks. An absolutely beautiful watch. I prefer this over just the regular black sub because this pop of this light green is just a perfect splash of color to make this into not a boring watch. Let's put it on the wrist real quick. And you can't go wrong with any of these. You really can't. There it is. And that's a beautiful watch. That shade of green, whether it's in the dark or in the sunlight, is absolutely perfect. Beautiful watch. This bracelet is more comfortable. Well, I don't know comfortable, but it's definitely lighter, and it might be a little easier to wear than the Omega bracelet. But like I said, this Omega bracelet, it does fit the watch profile, I think. Like I said, it's supposed to be a bigger, manlier type of a watch. So I like it. And again, look at that green. When the sun hits it, that's just gorgeous, you guys. So you cannot go wrong with any of these. Now, the prices are very much different. The prices are actually crazy. This one you can buy like new for probably around $4,500. This one, if you want it to be like new, someone that just bought it and flipped it, you're looking at about 15 to 16,000. So that's about $10,000 more for this watch than it is for this one. Is it worth it? Is this watch $10,000 better than this one? Absolutely not. In fact, this might be a better watch. But hey, you're paying for the name with this. And whether we like to admit it or not, we are all Rolex fanboys. So stop it. Stop it with, I don't like Rolex. You do. You want one. And you're just waiting on that list. Now, having said that, a lot of guys are happy with a Tudor. They don't need a Rolex. They don't care for a Rolex. They are perfectly happy with having a Tudor Black Bay. This is my latest pickup. I wanted a black face watch, kind of a boring watch if you want to go with it. And I found this one on Joma Shop for, well, I called Zalman and I said, what can you do for me? It's like new, box, papers, everything, 2025. And he gave it to me for $3,900. Can't beat that. This is a great looking watch. The 5-link bracelet is extremely comfortable. It looks good on the wrist. Let me put it on real quick. Let's throw this on. Yeah, that's a good looking watch. Again, it's very black. It's very plain. It's Some would call it boring. I call it just right. For a daily, with this 5-link bracelet, that is a good looking timepiece. I don't care what you say. And Tudor really is kind of hard to beat when it comes to value for money. You're getting some great watches, you're getting great movements at, half or a third of the price of a Rolex in a similar class. So I guess you could compare this to a black sub that, if you want it like new on the gray market, I think they're going for about $12,000 to $13,000. Whereas this one you can give for less than $4,000. So is the sub worth that much more? No, but it does carry that Rolex name that everyone is after. So you have to make that decision. One thing they all have in common, and we'll stick with the Tudor first here, they all have a great on-the-fly adjustment system. I use this every single day. Tudor's T-Fit clasp is amazing, simple to use, and it just works. It works really well. And like I said, with working out and doing push-ups and stuff like that throughout the day, your wrist will go up. So yeah, I use it a lot. Rolex as well, they have a great on-the-fly adjustment system. Works perfectly. Omega's might be my favorite with this push system here. So you basically, push this in and then it goes up and down. That's it. It looks great. One thing I don't like is if I ever have to pull it out, I'm not a fan of how this looks. But functionality, I think Omega is my favorite. You just push and go like that. I just wish they changed this here so it would, keep this look like the rest of the links. That's it. That's my only gripe. So, having said all that, this is my perfect 3 watch collection. As of right now, will my taste change at some point? Maybe when I get older, I'll want something on a leather strap. But for right now, I am a diver guy through and through. Like I said, I've had other type of watches and I just never put them on. So it's always been reaching for a dive watch. So that's what I'm going to stick with. Anyway, let me know what your perfect 3 watch collection would be, because this is mine right now. Having said that, would I like to have an AP, a Patek, or something like that? Yeah, absolutely. But I'm probably never going to be able to afford those. I'm never probably going to be the type of customer that's buying a Nautilus or a Royal Oak or something at a boutique. It's just not me. Not in the cards for right now. Maybe one day, but this is my holy trinity as of right now.